Today's Tuesday and it's the last day of January of 2023. It's the 31st of January 2023 and we're at the Fergus Club Europa. It's the hotel apartments just outside Paguera, and we're here because David Ballard contacted me about just over a week ago and was asking about what it was like to walk into Paguera, how far was it, and was it suitable for a wheelchair. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to walk down into Paguera from here. It's a particularly busy road today because the work has been done on the tunnels. So the tunnels are closed, so all the traffic that's going to Andrach, Camp de Mar and anywhere in that direction is having to come along here. So that's why the road is so busy. Normally a much quieter road. So this is the Fergus Club Europa, and I guess this is the way you would come out, which is perfectly fine for a wheelchair. You can come down here and then you get to the pavement. There's a little bit of a bump up there and it's downhill all the way to Paguera. The consequence of that, of course, is that it's all uphill coming back. So you've got your obvious curbs to deal with, and in the summertime it could be very, very warm. So from April, May onwards, doing this walk, certainly from May onwards, it would be very warm. We've just walked up and I must say I'm breaking into a bit of a sweat. I can't say the same for Anita though, she might be glowing a little, but I've got my gloves on. And she hasn't got her gloves, she's forgotten the gloves. So as we walk down, this part of the road actually is not a main road. The main road is just to the side, and that's where you'll see most of the cars. This is a road which is a service road for the apartments and the houses that are on this side, and also for that hotel. The pavement itself is in need of a little bit of TLC. It's a bit rickety, but not too bad. We have seen worse. You're just going to have to be a little bit careful as you come down. And we did notice on the way down there's one or two benches, which is, I suppose, good news if you need to take a little bit of a break. Bad news is the next bench actually obstructs the path, so could be a little bit of a squeeze if you're getting a wheelchair through there. We'll have a look at that when we get to it. So yes, as you can see, lots of traffic, so it's a little bit noisy walking down here today. That wouldn't normally be the case, and by the time the summer comes, the road will be a little bit quieter. Most of the traffic will go along the motorway, which goes through tunnels and comes past Paguera, doesn't actually go through Paguera. So it's a little bit unusual at the moment. So this is the bench I was referring to, and there certainly is room to get a wheelchair through there, just got to do it with a little bit of care. I had another complaint. Someone said I don't complain about the graffiti, and I wrote back and said I don't think you watch enough of my videos, because I try not to complain about too many things in Mallorca, because I think we're so lucky to live here and we have this wonderful environment, but that certainly is spoilt by the graffiti that appears to be just about everywhere. And so here's one little complaint then, complaint about the graffiti. On the left hand side now, we're just coming up to a Mercadona, one of the big supermarkets here in Mallorca, big supermarket in Spain, and you'll certainly get all your food requirements there. So if you're staying in an apartment or you're self-catering, then Mercadona has got to be a good choice for getting your provisions. One little hassle that's created is people seem to park here on the road to use the shop and then leave their trolleys just on the pavement, and I can see that being a little bit of an issue. If you've got a wheelchair. So Anita's saying that up until pandemic really. You used to have to put a euro coin in. You got the euro coin back, but they stopped that with the pandemic and they cleaned all of the trolleys. But some people don't take them back to the trolley park, and that means they're littering the area. And I don't know how often they're actually used to be cleared. So it's Tuesday today, and Tuesday is a market day, and in the past we've actually seen the market just on the next stretch of road. So we've got a zebra crossing here to cross. Should be fairly safe. And then there's kind of a boulevard to walk down, and it's really nice and wide, and from here on in right down to the beach it should be very easy, and there's shops to see on both sides of the road. But across the road we've got a Lidl, and Lidl's got its own car park, but then just across the road from that there is another car park, and that's where we're going to investigate. So David, if you're walking away from the hotel, this road now takes you down, all the way down to the town and to the beach. We will do the rest of that walk in a moment, but we're just going to cross over and have a look at this little market that's popped up. We have another crossing here, so we can cross over. I think by the time the summer comes, these markets will all be a little bit bigger and a little bit better. Winter time, they tend to be on the smallish side, and we've never actually seen the market in this car park, so this is a first for us. When we've been to the market before, it's just been on the boulevard. So just have a quick look around. I don't think there's too many stalls to look at. There's some plants, so we'll have a look at those. Nice, thank you very much. Yesterday we went up to the market in Calvia, and there were not many stalls there either.
The same ones here?
Probably. So this is a public car park. A little bit different. Anita, of course, is really interested in, I guess. I think we might have seen this one yesterday in Calvia. There's actually not many stalls here, just a few. Different sobrasadas and cheeses, that's what we look for. Anita's always looking at the flowers and the plants for her garden. We've got quite a walk to do today, so I hope she doesn't buy anything. Somebody's got to carry them. A little pop-up here with some lemons and oranges. They're both in season here, so these are oranges from Soyer, very much in season. And we have quite a lot of oranges still on our tree. They'll last a few more weeks, probably into February. And we've got lots of lemons as well, and they will go on for quite some time. In fact, we normally get 2 crops of lemons each year. So all the usual fruit and veg, beautifully displayed. And then just behind me, lots of clothes. So a few stalls here, big car park. There's actually a big sign, not sure what it says, but other than no parking. And a few more stalls down here. Obviously, it is not market time of the year. Different scarves here than we saw yesterday, and jewellery as well. And then the olives. I like the olives, unfortunately Anita's not so keen. These are the big ones, look at those olives, huge. You can smell them. And we'll go with the olives. You've got the olive oil and, oh dear, some wine. But you have to carry that wine. It's only €3 a bottle. Oh, so tempting. So not much of a market today, but interesting nevertheless. And I think probably as the year progresses, as we get towards the season, I would expect the market to grow significantly. So starting probably, so Anita's just decided she's going to buy a plant. That's typical. But that's okay because we've parked the car at the bottom of this road, so she can drop it off at the car while we walk into Paguera. So just get your bearings again. There's Mercadona across there. You can see all the traffic coming through. And then Lidl on this side. And you don't get Jehovah's Witnesses just in England, they're all over. That's German Jehovah's Witnesses, or at least Jehovah's Witnesses who are speaking German for the German public. So this is Lidl. And now for David, you can go on either side, and I would suggest, particularly in the summer, there'll be a lot more leaves on the trees, and you just need to look to see where the shade is, and that's obviously going to depend on the time of day. Today there isn't going to be much shade. There's no leaves on the trees, and the sun's quite low in the sky, so we're not going to get a lot of shade today, but luckily it's not really too hot. So I can just stroll down. Anita will catch me up soon. She's going to buy a plant. It's actually not for us, it's going to be for a present for a friend of ours whose birthday it is later this week. I don't know whether you can see on the floor, but there's some markings. So there's these yellow markings, and then there are some metal tabs. These are actually to indicate where the market stalls can be positioned, and it's even got them right across the entrance to Lidl. Maybe they don't have them there anymore. And so these market stalls on a good market day will be on both sides of the road. So the road's in the middle, and we would normally walk up one side and then walk down the other. When Anita was looking up what day the market was, her phone was telling her it was on a Monday, and then it was also saying on a Tuesday. Well, we've just seen there is a little bit of a market on a Tuesday. Not sure about Monday. Need to check that one out a little bit. So it is a little bit of a hill here, just to keep you informed. It's not steep, it's not a terribly steep one, and certainly for walking down it's quite pleasant. I don't like walking down steep hills, but this is fine. But walking up, you do feel it. And there's one of the buses which I suppose we should have used today, but we didn't really have time. We've had a busy morning. We've already been shopping this morning. Anita wanted to go into Palma to do some shopping, into Portopee, which is the shopping centre, so we did some grocery shopping down there. And then on the way back, I called into my school, my former school now I suppose, Belvedere International College, and went to see a few people there. Really nice to see them again and wish them well. And do I miss working? Well, I certainly do miss teaching the children. I think I really do miss that. And I did at the Corrifoc that we were at just the other day, where the fireworks were going off. I did actually see some children from the school, and they were saying how much they were missing me too. So hopefully the feeling is mutual for most of them. But we've moved on now, and I'm certainly enjoying retirement. Oh, and here's Anita. What have you got there? Wow.
This is for our friend Monroe's birthday. Lovely orchid and 2 lots of tulips.
Oh, she's a happy girl.
€30.
Woo. Monroe might watch this.
Don't tell him. He let me have the tulips for €5 each.
Very nice.
Well, I told him I wanted them for that.
So there are a few little shops and things to look at as you're coming down here. It's a nice, well-kept boulevard. It's nice and clean, and this leads you directly down into the town area of Paguera, where the main shops are. So Anita now has to find a way back to the car. Think you'll be able to do that, dear?
The keys.
And then I'll meet you down by the roundabout at the bottom. So.
What's there?
Yeah. So just looking on this side, it's well, they're all stepped back a little bit from this boulevard, but we've got the estate agents, lots and lots of estate agents on this island, and Europa car if you want to hire a car. You need to have something cleaned, dry cleaned, washed. There's the lavanderia, is where they do the washing for you and the ironing on an industrial scale. And then next to that is the ferreteria. Ferreteria is an ironmonger's, and it's where you'll find your nuts and bolts, your screws, your hammers and chisels and all your tools, but lots of other things too. They sort of wind up, and to go with that they've got all the gardening things as well. So compost, it's quite a nice big one here with everything you could possibly imagine. I'm not sure what heaven on earth is. And then we'll find quite a few bars are open here in Paguera. There is a local community that lives here, and that helps to keep some of the bars and restaurants open. So on this side we've just got one, and then looking over to the other side there's another one. And there are a number of free car parks, so I parked in one of them at this end of Paguera, which is the Andrach side, because this is where we wanted to start our walk today. And this, we're seeing lots of Chinese shops. Here's another one. These are a little bit like, well, a bit of everything shops. So you've got your ferreteria, you've got your clothes, and you've got just about everything else. So picture here is worth 1,000 words. These are all the sorts of things you can find in there. But if you want, you've forgotten your lilo or you've forgotten your beach ball, then that's one of the things you can get there, I suppose. Next to that is Eroski, and Eroski is another supermarket that we have many of here on the island. It actually comes from the Basque country, but it's done very, very well here in Mallorca, and well, I think tends to have good prices and a good range of products. So it's a shop that we do use from time to time. And well, you've got the press, there's Spanish press there, and you've even got some English press there. You've got the Financial Times, the New York Times, and then the Bulletin, which is no longer the Daily Bulletin, unfortunately, and then some German newspapers as well. So the Bulletin, which used to be the Mallorca Daily Bulletin, is now weekly, and I find that really sad, and really used to quite enjoy catching up with the stories from the Bulletin in the newspaper. But unfortunately that's no longer, so you can get it as a weekly, or you can read it online, which tends to be what I do, and I think many other people do, and it's gone very much to being an online newspaper, and it's a great source of information for the English-speaking community of what's going on here in Mallorca, and it's where people do advertising, and I do hope that they manage to survive doing that, and well, only time will tell as we go into this multimedia age, and hopefully they will be able to produce information quickly, which is really important if you're using the internet, and use multimedia far more. So more audio, more video, as well as pictures and the text that goes with it. Sounds good, eh? and I can see Anita. My goodness, she's caught me up. So Anita is just across the road there, and she's going to find it a lot easier just to cross over there where she is, and I will cross over this side. The roads here take you up to Calafonels, and Calafonels got a tiny little beach hotel, but it's really quite picturesque there. There's a couple of hotels and lots of apartments and houses around there, but it's worth going just to have a look at the scenery. It's just really is picturesque and beautiful. But again, if you're walking, it's a bit up and down. Well, it's a lot of up and then a lot of down, and the same coming back. All good. And you can hear all the traffic now. Again, it wouldn't normally be like this. Normally traffic is not allowed down here, or very limited, but because of the closure of the tunnels, we've got a lot of traffic coming through. And we've got rebajas. Rebajas are the sales, so the prices are supposedly reduced. So today we went to Carrefour, which is the main supermarket in Portopee, and the coffee that I normally have says that it's half price. There's always a trick to these things, isn't it? You actually pay an inflated full price, so they've put the price up probably nearly €2 since we last bought it, and then the half price, you pay the full price, which was actually €6 something, and they give you a coupon for €3. So yes, you've paid half price, which is actually only €1 less than it was before, and that €3, you have a limited time to spend it. In fact, it's a week later on in February, So between the 14th and 28th, and if you don't spend it in that time, you lose it. So it's a bit tricky, isn't it? So I'm guessing many people will forget about that coupon, or it'll get stuck at the bottom of a drawer or the bottom of a handbag, and they won't use it, and they will have ended up paying more for the coffee than it was actually worth. All tricks, I suppose, of marketing. Anita's on the ball though. She's going to make sure she spends that €3 or whatever it is. How much? €7. Well, we bought 2 jars of coffee, so total's actually €7. So that's actually quite significant, isn't it? It's a whole new jar of coffee for me.
Or a bottle of wine.
Or a bottle of wine, I'm sure that. So the noise as we're walking down here from the traffic is twofold. One is because there's just much more traffic, and the other is because the roads are sort of got cobbles there. They're made out of small bricks, and it just means that the noise is much louder than it would have been if they'd have tarmacked it. And that's done with the idea that there would not normally be very much traffic. And obviously now there's lots of traffic, and so it's very, very noisy. And I'm sure it's having a detrimental effect to the surface of the road. I think they might end up having to relay some of the stones. As it is January, many of the shops here are closed. They take a vacation now this time of the year and have their feet up, or I don't know, whatever they do. But many of the places will be closed now until the season starts. There's a thermometer on the other side there. I don't know if you caught that. 20 degrees Celsius. 20 degrees. How wonderful is that? That's thermometer, unfortunately, is in the sun, so it's not a real temperature. The real temperature is probably around about 14-15 degrees, but the weather forecast does say that towards the end of the week the temperatures are going to go up, and from the 14 or so degrees that we've got now, we should be getting to the dizzy heights of about 17 degrees by the end of the week. And that will be much more pleasant. It's funny, really, how just a few degrees can make that difference. And the other thing, of course, that makes a big difference is how windy it is. And we've had a lot of wind over the past few weeks. So hopefully, together with the better weather, and we're now going to leave the noisy road behind us and go towards the promenade, where it'll be hopefully a lot quieter. So Anita's just pointing out La Pampa. Not sure whether they're open at the moment, but it's one of the places we really like to go to.
Windows open.
Yes, the window is open, so maybe they are open. It's one of the places we really like to go to for Menu del Dia. And just on this side, on the quietness, is Hotel Gaia. They were doing a lot of work on that last year, but we're now walking down towards the sea, and I feel as though I've gone deaf. It was really noisy back there. Apologies if I was shouting. I was certainly having to speak quite loud to be heard, and well, it remains to be seen when I do the editing how the sound comes out. But I think we're in for a beautiful sight of the beach here. The waves not too big, so no surfers today. What we have got some fishermen out. And there's actually some people lying on the beach, so enjoying the sunshine. It's a lovely large beach here, and now the sun's out, it looks so much better. It's just sending a message to someone. And the water looks Very, very clear. Very clean indeed. Not sure how much luck the fisherman's having today. If you're into exercising, there's some exercise machines, some benches you can sit on to enjoy the sunshine and the view. And just have a look over here to see what the water looks like. So actually see hundreds of fish down there. They're only little ones, but there's lots and lots of them. And the water is really, really clear. They're almost on the sand, but there's hundreds and hundreds of fish down there. Well, we've done a nice little walk down into Paguera, so I think it's time for a little reward. What time is it? Oh, it's nearly midday. I might have a shandy.
Lovely, isn't it?
Nita's sending all the messages and photos, are you?
Just done a video.
Oh, just done a video. Are you in competition? Nita likes to take lots and lots of photographs and also videos with her phone, and then she WhatsApps them around to all of her friends. Just looking out over this particular bay. This is just one of the big beaches here in Paguera. It's a really almost semicircular beach. Beautiful expanse of sand. And then just beyond the headland there's another beach. And then beyond that there's a third beach. So 3 beaches here in Paguera, 3 quite biggish sort of beaches. No sunbeds out. They will not be appearing, I wouldn't have thought, until Easter time, so we'll come and see them then. But really quite pleasant in the sun now. I've got a jumper on, I've got a jacket on, and I'm feeling a little bit warm.
¿Qué pasa?
Well, we've stopped off at our usual bar, and well, it's just midday, so I'm having a beer. So we're going to have a little beer, and Anita's on a coffee, and we've had some little tapas as well, so that's nice. And the policeman just said hello to us. That's nice, isn't it? Well, we've got to go and pick the girls up from school now, but we've had a nice little walk in Paguera. We've seen a nice market, and hope David has got a little bit of information about what the walk is now down from the Hotel Europa, Fergus Europa. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. So bye for now.
And the weather is beautiful, and we're so lucky to be here. Bye for now.
The sun's shining, fantastic. Bye.